Chosen one, destiny has led you to this moment, not by accident. Today is not just an ordinary day, it is the first time you are touching a truth that has always belonged to you. You have walked a long road like a warrior, carrying the weight of defense on your shoulders, a heart always on guard, and a mind constantly building worst-case scenarios before it could reach peace. It's natural when life has taught you to always brace for the next blow. But there is a message from above you need to hear right now. The battle that once tried to define you has ended. The verdict has been declared. The fight is over. This is the moment for you to exhale, to rest. Your body may still remember the tension. Your spirit may still bear the marks of wounds, and your mind may still replay the hard memories of the path you've walked. But victory does not always come with loud cheers. Sometimes it's simply the undeniable truth that you survived what once tried to erase you. And you're still here, present. That alone is powerful evidence. The hardest part is already behind you. Look back for a moment. There were nights you lay awake in the dark, thinking of every reason to quit. There were days you lived like a shadow, repeating routines without knowing if you had the strength for tomorrow, and yet tomorrow still came, and you kept moving forward. That endurance was not just sheer willpower, it was something beyond yourself. It was preservation, a quiet yet steadfast protection. The Most High never let the weight crush you before the story was complete. And now, a message from heaven resounds. It's over. The battle that stretched through years, through repeating cycles, etched even into your very flesh, has reached its end. That's why recently you felt something new rising within you, something you may not yet have words for, but your soul recognizes it as a turning point. Before you go on, pause for a moment. Hit like so this message can reach other chosen ones like you. Subscribe to become part of the rising army of spiritual warriors, and if you truly feel connected, leave the number 999 in the comments, a sacred symbol of divine connection. Why do the fears of the past seem to no longer control you? Why do the things that once broke you, that once pulled you into darkness, no longer shake you as before? Why, in the midst of chaos, still swirling around you, does a quiet stillness begin to emerge? Because something deep within you has changed. A door has closed, even if you haven't realized it yet. Maybe you've lived in a state of tension for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to live without it. Maybe you've been so used to preparing for the worst that you no longer remember that sometimes peace is also a valid choice. The truth is, when heaven declares that the battle is over, it remains so, even if the world around you has not yet caught up. The confirmation from the divine does not depend on whether people can see it or not. A victory for your soul has already been proclaimed, quietly yet decisively. You don't need anyone else to recognize it for it to be real. It has already happened, even if no one has named it yet. If you've been waiting for a clear sign, this is the moment to understand. You have already crossed what you once thought was the end. And because of that, you can now allow yourself to rest, not the kind of rest filled with suspicion, as though everything is only calm before the next storm, but true rest. Rest in the confidence that you are no longer being chased by the shadows of your past. This does not mean life will now be without challenges, but that relentless battle, the one that made you question your worth, the one that tried to bend your very nature, has lost its power. It no longer has a voice in your present. You have stood firm. You did not let yourself disappear in the storm, and that has changed everything. Now, you are not just entering another phase of life. You are stepping into a new season, a season of confirmation, first and foremost from the Most High, that you have been faithful, that you did not give up even when everything seemed unbearable. You stayed the course, even when you had every reason to turn away. And soon enough, life around you will begin to align with that truth. Not because you suddenly became more worthy, but because you always were. It is only now that the timing has met the truth you've carried all along. What matters now is this: you must also change the way you see yourself. It's time to stop playing the role of the soldier who must always be on guard. It's time to lay down the armor, the very thing that once protected you but is no longer needed. You don't have to repeat old scenarios. You don't have to search every corner of life for signs of danger. You don't have to keep reliving a battle that no longer exists. That journey has ended. And this moment, though quiet, carries immense power. It marks a transformation not only on the outside but deep within you. A new chapter is opening, not with noise, but with the gentle strength of a soul that no longer fears. And that is the clearest evidence that you have truly overcome. You no longer need to face life as though it is always ready to betray you. Even if the world once taught you to live in constant defense, to always be suspicious of anything good, you are no longer bound by that. Now you have the right to set the burden down. You can breathe more freely, walk more steadily, without carrying guilt or doubt. Safety may feel unfamiliar after so many years of fighting just to survive, but that does not make it any less real. Because the Most High is not asking you to keep proving your strength. He is not requiring you to live as if you are still in the war zone. He is giving you the chance to live as someone who has already walked out of the battle, not just a survivor, but one who has been restored. And from this, everything begins to change. The way you speak with God shifts, not out of desperation and confusion, but with depth, trust, and gratitude. The way you love transforms, less fear of loss, more openness and sincerity. Even the way you walk through life changes. It is no longer a race to achieve something, but a steady walk from the awareness that you are already loved, already chosen. You no longer have to earn acceptance because it has always been yours. You have already made it through the darkest of days. You have endured nights that felt like they had no way out. And the declaration from above has rung clear. You have won. Not in the way the world defines victory, but in a deeper, more enduring way. So let that truth soak into every breath. The worries that once kept you awake, the hesitations that made you doubt yourself, the moments when your mind painted the worst-case scenario. All of these are remnants of a season now behind you. You don't need to carry those memories as if they still have power over your present. They have lost their strength. They are no longer part of this new journey. What belongs to you now is peace. Peace not built on circumstances, but rooted within. Freedom, not just in action, but in thought and spirit. Rest, not as surrender or escape, but as stability after a long and stormy road. Rest in the assurance that the ground beneath you does not shake. Not, it will be okay, but it already is okay. Because the safety you once searched for outside has now begun to take root within. You are standing on a foundation built on truth, and nothing can easily bring it down. The next time your mind tries to pull you back into panic, when old fears rise up and whisper, "Be careful, everything could collapse at any moment," take a step back and remind yourself that battle is over. You no longer live there. What once bore the scars of war has been sealed and closed. The record of the fight has been archived. You don't have to reopen the old pages to prove anything anymore. Now is the time to live, not just survive, to feel, not to tense up, to embrace stillness, not to question it. You have gone far enough. You have fought hard enough. And the miracle is this: you have made it to the other side of pain. And there, you no longer need to worry about what might go wrong, because at last you have learned how to stand, not through luck, but through the very journey you faithfully endured. The final verdict over you is victory, and the proclamation from heaven has never been wrong or exaggerated. Understand this: rest does not mean weakness or giving up. Rest is the expression of strength after a battle has been won. For so long you lived with a body on edge, a spirit always braced, prepared for the next problem, the next blow, the next betrayal. That posture became such a deep habit you mistook it for normal. But today, with the fiercest battles now behind you, your mind may still scan for threats that no longer exist. That is only an old reflex, and the Most High gently reminds you, you don't have to live this way anymore. You are safe. You may allow yourself to rest. Rest does not mean stopping life or ceasing action. Rest means knowing everything won't collapse just because you exhale. Rest means laying the burden down after crossing the finish line. Rest means trusting the new flow, where you are no longer defined by tension. Picture someone who has just finished a marathon. No one questions their right to stop. No one accuses them of laziness for gasping for air. Why? Because the evidence of effort is written in every step, every drop of sweat. That is your picture. You have crossed a distance many never believed you could. You have endured trials designed to wear you down to nothing. The fact that you are still here, still standing, is undeniable proof of your extraordinary endurance. Rest is no longer just an option, it is essential. It is not simply a pause for recovery, but a rightful reward for the long journey you've endured. It is the space that prepares you to receive what is coming, not with fear, but with the posture of someone who has matured through trials. This is the shift you must allow yourself to make, to recognize that you are no longer in danger. You no longer live under the pressure that one mistake could make everything collapse. You are no longer bound by the curse of exhaustion. That battle once tried to convince you that survival was your only identity. But now, heaven is gently teaching you another truth. Rest is your true inheritance. And as you choose to live in that rest, it begins to reshape the way you walk through life. You will see that you no longer need to rush to prove yourself. What is right, what belongs to you, will come without you having to fight for it. You will no longer chase voices that never understood you. You will no longer feel the need to explain yourself to those who choose to misunderstand you. Rest sets you free from that cycle. It silences the echo of despair, and despair was the last chain that once tried to bind you. When you stop and allow yourself to dwell in this peace, you will discover a new reality. You are no longer living in a war. You are learning to live without carrying the weight of the past on your shoulders. This is not giving up. It is a higher form of strength. The strength of one who has finished, who has overcome, and who can now walk lightly without fear that the ground beneath will collapse. Rest does not mean indifference or abandoning responsibility. It does not mean turning your back on life or neglecting what matters. Rest simply means you no longer let fear control every breath, every action. You no longer believe that everything depends on running faster, striving harder, or carrying more tension. Rest is the moment you allow the Most High to carry what He has always longed to carry with you through the journey. This is not fiction or empty comfort. It is the covenant He has spoken. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not just a beautiful image. It is a real reward, an essential part of the journey. Just as a soldier cannot fight forever, and a farmer cannot plow endlessly without harvest, life was created to move in seasons. There is a time to labor, and there is a time to receive. You are in such a season now, a season where you are permitted to receive, to lay burdens down, to breathe deeply. Pay attention to how God is inviting you in the quiet moments. Silence is no longer empty as before. It becomes full, rich, and meaningful. Peace no longer feels like a distant luxury. It begins to touch every part of your life. Even if it feels unfamiliar, even suspicious at first. That is natural. When you've grown accustomed to survival, even joy can make you cautious. Even peace can feel frightening because the body has not yet caught up to the spirit that has stepped into freedom. But that does not change the truth. Heaven has declared that the battle is over, and now your body and mind are learning how to live in this new state. So be gentle with yourself. Practice resting the way you once practiced fighting. Practice receiving the way you once practiced persevering. Before long, you will realize that rest does not make you weaker. It makes you wiser because you are no longer drained. You love deeper and wider when you are not weighed down by exhaustion. You are stronger when you no longer have to patch up inner wounds after every step. That is why God emphasizes this transformation. He is not giving you a brief pause. He is granting you a steady foundation to continue living. He is showing you that blessing is not earned by burnout, and love is not another battlefield. This rest is sacred. It is not merely stopping. It is profound restoration. It is His way of saying, you have accomplished what once seemed impossible. Now breathe. Let Him carry the rest. Let this truth cover you like a warm blanket. You will not fall behind when you rest. You will not lose momentum when you pause. You will not waste time when you choose stillness. You are moving in rhythm with heaven, the place where no one is asked to carry everything forever. Heaven only invites you to trust, and the deepest form of trust is rest. So tonight, as you close your eyes, do not feel guilty. Exhale without fear. Smile without waiting for something bad to happen, because this time it will not come. The verdict over you is victory. The invitation extended to you is rest. Both belong to you. This is the moment for your spirit to pause, to remain in the presence of that truth, and to let it heal you and reshape the way you walk into the days ahead.